The polished granite floors of First Fidelity Bank gleamed under the recessed lighting. Polished so perfectly, you could practically see your soul staring back at you. It was a sleepy Tuesday afternoon. The kind of quiet weekday where the HVAC system hummed louder than the customers, and the crisp scent of freshly printed statements mingled with the subtle, woody aroma of aged leather and expensive bourbon from the private client services area. Outside, the November sun cast long shadows through the panoramic windows, but inside, everything felt deliberate, controlled, precise, smooth jazz, a rendition of Born to be Wild, drifted from hidden speakers. The kind of music designed to make you feel like your money was in sophisticated hands. The tellers spoke in muted tones, their fingers dancing across keyboards, while customers in impeccably tailored suits waited in Italian leather chairs that cost more than most people's cars. The glass doors whirred open, and the jazz seemed to skip a beat. A man walked in, who looked like he had taken a wrong turn from another universe entirely. He was built like a Mack truck, 6'3", with shoulders that nearly brushed both sides of the doorframe. His arms were covered in tattoos that disappeared under a worn leather vest, and even from across the lobby you could see the Hells Angels patches blazing red and white against the black leather. His boots left dusty prints on the granite, and his grey beard was wild, untamed. Like he had ridden through a hurricane to get here. His name was Hank Bear Kowalski, and he had been riding Harleys since before most of the tellers were even born. If you believe in treating every person with dignity, second chances, and never judging a book by its cover, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from today, because stories like this remind us that the person we dismiss might be the one who changes everything. Bear approached the customer service desk and asked to speak with someone about a business loan. The woman behind the counter looked at him like he had asked to rob Fort Knox. She excused herself and disappeared into a back office. A few minutes later, a man in a charcoal grey suit emerged. His name was Chad Sterling, branch manager, and his smile was the kind that never reached his eyes. Chad looked Bear up and down, taking in the tattoos, the leather, the road dust, and made his decision before Bear could say another word. He told Bear that this branch specialized in clients with established business relationships. He suggested Bear might be more comfortable at a different institution. His voice was polite, but his meaning was clear. He was asking Bear to leave. Bear stayed calm. He explained that he had been a customer at this bank for over 20 years. He had accounts here. He just needed a small loan, $50,000, to expand his Harley repair shop. Chad actually chuckled. He said that, unfortunately. Their lending standards required a certain profile. And he gestured vaguely at Bear's vest, and that profile did not include... He paused. Club affiliations. He said the word club like it tasted bad. Bear's eyes went cold, but his voice stayed level. He asked Chad if he was sure about that decision. Chad crossed his arms and said absolutely. He added that he would have security escort Bear out if necessary. Bear nodded slowly. He reached into his vest pocket and pulled out a worn leather wallet. From inside, he removed a single business card and set it on the counter. Then he asked to speak with the regional VP. Chad smirked and said the regional VP did not meet with walk-in customers, especially not ones who looked like they belonged in a police lineup. Bear said nothing. He just pulled out his phone and made a call. Within 3 minutes, Chad's desk phone rang. His face went from smug to confused to pale in the span of 10 seconds. He hung up and stared at Bear like he was seeing him for the first time. The business card on the counter read Hank Kowalski, founder and CEO, Kowalski Construction and Development. What Chad did not know, what he had never bothered to check, was that Bear's company had built half the shopping centers in the county, that his net worth was somewhere north of $12 million, and that his accounts at this very branch held $4.7 million in readily available funds. The regional VP arrived within the hour. Her name was Deborah Hayes, and she was not smiling. She asked Chad to explain why one of their most valued clients had been publicly humiliated and asked to leave the premises. Chad stammered something about protocols and appearances. Deborah cut him off. She told him that Hank Kowalski had been a client since 1993, that his business accounts alone generated more revenue for this branch than the next 10 clients combined, that he had personally funded 3 community centers, a veterans housing project, and a scholarship program for underprivileged youth, all through this bank. Chad's face had gone the color of old paper. Bear stood there, arms crossed, watching. Deborah turned to Bear and began apologizing profusely. She offered him whatever he needed. The loan, premium rates, a dedicated account manager. Bear held up his hand. He said he did not want an apology. He wanted to close his accounts, all of them. Today. The lobby went silent. Deborah's mouth opened, but no words came out. Bear walked over to the main counter and told the teller he wanted to withdraw $4.7 million. The teller looked at her manager. The manager looked at Deborah. Deborah closed her eyes and nodded. It took almost 2 hours to process. Bear waited patiently in one of those expensive leather chairs, his dusty boots resting on the granite floor. When it was done, he had the bank issue certified checks to 3 different institutions across town, smaller banks, credit unions, places where he said the tellers still remembered people's names. As he walked toward the door, he stopped next to Chad, who had not moved from his spot in over an hour. Bear leaned in close and spoke quietly. He said that when he was 25, a banker had believed in him when no one else would. Gave him his first loan based on a handshake and a dream. That man changed his life. Bear told Chad that he could have been that person for someone today instead. He chose to judge. He said that was the real loss here, not the money, the chance to change a life. Bear walked out through the glass doors into the November sunshine. His Harley was waiting at the curb, chrome gleaming. He swung his leg over, started the engine, and rode away without looking back. And before we end, we have one special request for you. Comment below with the words, "Money has no face," to show that you stand against prejudice in all its forms. Because sometimes, the person we dismiss as worthless is the same person who built everything around us. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, so you never miss a story that reminds us that true wealth isn't about the fancy clothes, the expensive cars, or the lavish lifestyle. It's about character. It's about how you treat the folks who can't offer you a leg up, the people who are down on their luck, the ones who might need a little help or just a kind word. Because let's be honest, true wealth isn't measured in dollars and cents, but in the kindness, the empathy, and the respect you show to everyone, regardless of their situation. So remember that the next time you're tempted to judge someone or look down on them, true wealth is a reflection of your inner self, not your outer appearance. It's about the choices you make, the values you uphold, and the impact you have on the world around you. So choose kindness, choose empathy, choose respect, and you'll find that you're far wealthier than you ever imagined. Because in the end, that's what really matters.